that money, 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 money. I done come the money, 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 money. Do it all for money, 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 money. Let me stack that money, 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 money. Come and get that money, 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 money. I done come the money, money.
Good evening. Welcome to Plus Money Golf on the Fantasy Sports Corp Network, the show with the pro and the caddy. That'd be Adam and Smitty. My name is Eric. I'm just the host. Chris is over here doing the real work, keeping us on the internet, getting the things rolling, making the videos happen when they're supposed to. We are brought to you by our friends at Jazz Sportsbook, Casino and Racebook, as well as Underdog Fantasy. Go over there and get a 100% deposit match on your deposit, up to $100 with code Plus Money, all one word. Adam and Smitty are here. Adam, the reigning 5-time Dubuque Club champion. We forgot to mention that last week. Congratulations.
Thanks,
How are we doing this evening?
Good. Just ready for the Open to start.
Yeah, man.
Here in like 3 hours.
I know. It's awesome
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah.
Makes me want to
Yeah.
stay up all night and just watch golf. But
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I don't think it would be a very good idea. Yeah,
You can catch replay all day tomorrow.
that's a good point.
Indeed, Facebook user, we are all about to be very rich individuals. Gentleman's agreement, nobody works if any of us win. Yeah, the British, where the grass is long and the tee times are early, like 2 a.m. But we should recap last week. What the hell happened on Sunday? These guys I never heard of come shooting up the leaderboard. Glover, I don't know. Glover was on fire for the last 3 events. He kind of crapped out there. I guess that was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, and for like the first
But-
2.5 rounds, he was also doing work.
I
Yeah.
expect him to break through and win an event rather than peter out.
I mean, he's won before, but yeah, he's just due to win. I mean, I think just he seemed to be a little worn out, maybe. I don't know.
It was a little frustrating because I was feeling really good after obviously the first couple rounds and watching Glover and everything, and then Pendrith started to like climb the ladder a little bit there too, and like it's crazy. Like I ended up like breaking pretty much even on the week last week, and it was annoying because I hit 4 out of my 5 top
Yeah.
10s.
I did too.
So I'm like, you can't possibly be serious that I hit and you hit 4 out of our top 10s or whatever, and we don't get a fucking outright.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
Glover's 5, Batia 9th, Grayson Murray 7th, Pendrith 6th, Dockman Redmond 9th.
Grayson Murray came out on Sunday, birdied, I think, 5 or 6 on the front 9.
Yeah.
And then he had a bogey and a double on the back 9. And then I turned it off after that.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating because, yeah, I mean, they were all right there in the mix, and I'm like, oh man, we are both sitting pretty here. Like one of us is for sure going to get a winner here, and then, yeah, like Eric said, it's just these guys that nobody knew, kind of just going super low on Sunday, and you know that's kind of how it is, especially when it's a wide open field like that.
Yeah.
Somebody catches fire, and all of a sudden they move up 50 some spots in the standings to freaking win this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we love these. You can get those not so talked about,
Well,
guys coming out of the woodwork.
right. And like, I had a friend of mine ask me why we talked about the Barbasol over the Scottish and everything. And I said, well, if you want to talk about betting and you want to talk about winning money, I said, the Barbasol is where the money's at, really, because you can kind of, for the most part, when you think about it, I mean, yeah, I didn't lose money this last week, but I didn't win either. But I mean, we were right there from having a big, huge week there. If one of those guys pulls it out,
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, you can pick apart the guys who are going to be there. That's why we hit 4 out of 5 top 10s, is because we knew these are the guys that are going to be there and have a shot to win it at the end. I mean, you got a couple no-namers that just shoot up the board on the last day and go crazy. And that's just golf, I guess. I thought our picks were really solid, and you go to the Scottish and it's like, well, Jesus, look at all these guys that are playing. It's pretty tough to try to pick out a winner, let alone a top 10, So
It is. All the big events are way harder because
Yeah.
there's like 4 guys that are clearly better than the rest of the field,
yeah,
and you get terrible odds. And then for some reason, some other guy wins. But if you pick Rory or Scotty or Rom or whatever, you don't get that great of odds. Like
yeah. And
Rory
events-
was at 9-1 last week, so
Mhm.
I picked him to win the Scottish, and he gets that's $50 on a $5 bet. So
Yeah, and I mean, a tournament like the Scottish where everybody is playing almost just like it's a major, correct? Like
Yeah.
that's much harder to pick a winner or a top 10 guys than it is when it's an actual major, because when it's a major that's involved, I mean,
Yeah.
that's different bloodlines right there. You know what I mean? Like it's different kind of golf.
Well, it's like the elevated events. How many of these like no name guys, or not no name, but like bottom 20 guys are winning the elevated events?
Right.
Just
It's just not the
because,
same.
yeah, it's hard. I almost liked it better before the elevated events where we had guys were scattered out.
I
Like,
agree.
You're not having, I mean, viewing it's cool, but it's way easier to bet when you got maybe 2 of the top 10 in the field instead of 30 of the top 30 in the field, or 50 of the top 50.
I'll take that bet. I'll take the field. You take Ricky.
Yeah.
Nope, I was muted. Yep, that's Coach. Coach is a big Ricky guy this week, evidently.
Okay, tell Coach.
Who's
to
was the
text
last
me.
guy he
Work
gave
something
us?
out.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
recall that
Dylan
one.
Wu. That's the
Yeah,
last
Wu.
one. He didn't even make the cut.
The Dylan Wu-Tang clan. That didn't work out. Hey, you'll have that. Well, shall we talk about this this course? Royal Liverpool Golf Course, built in 1869. Holy shit, that was like the Civil War just ended. Extended to 18 holes 2 years later. Got its royal designation right away in 1871 when some duke showed up and played some golf. Fun fact, it used to double as a horse track, and that's
Yeah.
all the stuff I know about it.
I mean, most people just call it Hoy Lake. Like that's what they refer to it as. Like if you're going over there, it's like, oh, we're going to play Hoy Lake. We don't play Royal Liverpool Golf Club. There's a lot of those places like that. Yeah, where it's like they just use the name, I guess, of the town or whatever, but it's a pretty legit looking place. I think Rory's won here before, if I'm not mistaken.
I heard him talking into a
Yes.
microphone saying he feels good. He's hitting everything good. He's shaping his shots.
Yeah, but he jinxed himself because he won the Scottish, so he's not going to be winning this week. I'm sorry. I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
Tiger won here in 06.
if
Rory
if
at
Rory-
14.
if Rory fell apart there at the end and ended up not winning the Scottish, I mean, I was
He'd
going to
be
be
primed.
all over him.
Yep. He'd probably still be plus 750.
Yeah, they haven't had an event here since 06. Or I guess 14, sorry.
14
Yeah.
was the last time.
Oh.
I was in speaking about the actual course, I was reading the Twitterverse, and Michael Kim is a great follow. If you don't follow Michael Kim on Twitter, you should. He gives some really great insight, and he was tweeting almost like hole by hole about what's going on. And he, some interesting things that he was talking about is that the wind on the front nine and the back nine, you're going to be playing, it's going to be completely opposite. So he's like, it's really strange to play an entire 9 holes with the wind being exactly the same. And then you go to the next 9, and the wind is obviously, because you're going in a different direction, so it's complete 180. And he was talking about how when Rory played well, obviously in 14, when that his ball shaping, it was that wind was just meant for him, and how things were going with that. But he also talked about how this course, it's already over 7,300 yards, that it's going to play quite a bit longer too. He said, you were not going to be hitting irons and everything like Tiger was back in the day off the tees. He's like, we're going to be hitting drivers into the wind, and it's going to take a lot more for that. But I'm excited to see that.
I think like honestly, if it's going to be windy, you probably eliminate 85% of the field because everybody's a high ball hitter because that's the
Yeah.
only way you get spin with modern equipment. You have very few players now that can hit low. Like Tiger can hit low. Rory can hit obviously a stinger. We saw that last week. There's a few guys, but these guys like Bryson that just hoist it in the air, they've got no chance if it's windy.
Well, yeah, and you get it up in the wind, and if let's say you're on 18, you see how close out of bounds
Yeah.
is there. I mean, it's like 2 feet off the fairway.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
they've
oh,
got
you're
some
OB, here we go.
in-course out of bounds too.
Yeah, which is wild.
Mm.
And these guys aren't going to be used to playing like that. Obviously, like you're just not. That's not a normal golf course that they're accustomed to playing. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited for it though. I think it's going to be really cool. But like he was also talking, and I'm looking at what the stimp meter is going to be at. It's going to be the greens are going to be rolling at 10.
That's pretty
he
quick
said-
for an open.
Yeah, but he said the greens are very green. So he's talking about them being slower than normal, and they're small too, and then lots of greens with runoffs on the sides and everything. So if like you're not, hitting your spots, then you're going to be in trouble. Which that's what everybody's used to, I guess, in any British Open. So
Yeah.
that's not anything crazy to be thinking about. But
What's the difference between a runoff and a collection area?
Well, it's just if you hit a spot on the green, it's sloped where it's just going to run straight off the green. I mean,
A collection
gonna fall
area is just
into a
like
collection
when the
area.
ball just rolls to an area and stops.
Makes sense.
but I mean,
So is Rory this big favorite? Like, are European guys the guys I should be looking at? Just because there's familiarity there?
Well, I
Probably
think
We
not.
have a lot of courses like this.
I
over
think
here,
Adam
right?
is hitting it on the nose there where, guys that can hit the ball lower and still be able to control that. I think that's going to be really important, especially if the wind is up. And,
when you got to avoid bunkers all week, the year
so-
Tiger won and he hit iron off the tee every hole, never hit it in a bunker. Like if it's green, that's really good because you're not going to get this crazy British Open runoff stuff. Like it's going to play like they wanted the US Open to play instead of it being all baked out and dried like a typical British Open. We're going to have green where it's soft, almost like a US Open.
Yeah,
like
I mean-
Aaron Hill's type of deal where it's like green, but it's still linksy.
we'll see. I mean, I think potentially too, if it is that windy, I mean, what does that do to the course in a span of Thursday to Sunday? Does the course drastically change and get faster as the weekend goes?
It could dry out as long as it stops raining, but
Yeah.
if it's raining and windy, it's not going to do anything.
Ooh, Dixon's the big fan. Should I bet Fleetwood, Brooks, or Homa to win this weekend? Brooks.
If it's low
What's picked in
scoring,
my DraftKings lineup. It's a major. It's Brooks, right?
but if it's low scoring, he doesn't like the 19 under,
Yeah.
majors. But
I mean, Tommy's been playing some really good golf as of late too, though. I mean,
he could flight it low too.
unfortunately, Homa is
Not going to play well.
Not the guy for this weekend. I mean, maybe at the
Probably
beginning of the
the
season,
worst-
people were thinking about him being something, but
I think Homa's probably the worst pick you could have. He's a high ball hitter. He doesn't hit it far when it's low. He's not going to be really good on these slow greens. He only plays good usually when we have super fast greens.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to make adjustments. to the
It's
old
not going to
lineup.
be a fun week for him. I don't think
No, I
he's
don't
like
think so either.
he's like a he's not a very good like windy bad weather player. I think that's why he usually does good on the West Coast because they have pretty mild weather. Greens are fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't travel.
Smitty, you were saying Rory should have lost last week, and then you'd like him better this week.
yeah, I mean, I still think he's going to play well. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't. I mean, it's never been done, right? That
Yeah,
someone has won the Scottish and then came and won the Open. So I mean, it's
Well, we've
that's a
seen
real
people
close
win.
first then.
Well, we've seen guys win the John Deere and then win the British. I mean, back to back.
Yeah.
Spieth.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and that's going from Quad Cities at 110 to British Open baked out and dry with wind and rain.
Yeah, and that guy straight up leaving right after he wins the John Deere
Yeah.
and flying straight out there after that. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about, you know. But I mean, Rory can for sure win. He's obviously one of the top 5 golfers in the world, and he's super
He's got
talented.
history here. He's got
Yeah, it's not-
motivation. I mean, you win in bad weather last week.
Yep.
It's probably a good.
And that ridiculous
thing.
shot that he made on 18 is just absolutely just
Yeah.
stupid that he did. I mean,
Well, he had 3 or 4 coming down the stretch that were just like unbelievable
well,
shots.
yeah, and then sinking that 10-footer to win it. Like, that's no joke there.
No.
Oh, we should spend 1 minute on this. Do you think Steph Curry could play on the tour if he focused just
Absolutely
on
not.
golf?
Absolutely not. No way.
No.
But he made a long putt, guys.
I
I
mean,
don't know if you saw.
He had a
I would
hole-in-one,
say
too.
like,
That
well,
was
we
cool.
have proof like Tony Romo, who's a very good amateur
Mhm.
player, probably better than Steph by a long ways, hits it a mile farther than Steph. He's tried to make opens, tried to make USAMs and can't do it. I mean,
That's true.
and even Steph said, like when he plays on the Corn Ferry events, like the difference between those guys and like him, it's not even close, It would be like Smitty going to try to, play against Michael Jordan or, like
Easy.
it's the same thing though,
It is. You're right. No, I know. Again, like
I mean, there's professional golfers that can't make cuts. And for somebody to think that Steph Curry could just show up to an event and make a cut, that's
Yeah.
unheard of. I mean, these kids out here now in high school are shooting in the 60s every round. Like he would literally have to go to any course, dry fire, and shoot a 62 to make it on tour. And it's just not going to happen. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, he can practice and do all that he wants to do, but I don't think it's even physically possible for him to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that, I mean,
He can't even win a celebrity event.
the average golf fan just doesn't understand. And
No.
I know, but I still don't understand. You know what I mean? Because it's like you don't really understand how good these guys are unless you're like inside the ropes with them, watching them play golf, and then also understanding that all of the work that's mental that goes into this game is a huge factor that people just don't understand. Like it
Yeah,
drives
look at
me
JT.
nuts.
He just forgot how to play.
I mean,
Like he's got all the skills in the world.
the
to be one
prime
of the best
example
golfers.
is like the PGA, all the PGA sections had their championship, which is where I played this week. The guy that won ours shot 14 under for 3 rounds. He'll go to the national tournament and he might not get a top 20 out of 200 club pros. And then they go to the PGA championship, and we've had like 3 guys in the last 5 years make the cut there. That's absurd to think a guy that plays NBA hasn't grown up playing golf could beat these elite junior golfers or the college players. I mean, people don't even grasp how good the college golfers are these days. It's stupid how hard they hit it and how far they hit it. I mean, like when I go play in the Oklahoma Open, there's guys that can't make a cut on the Corn Ferry that are shooting 25, 26 under for 3 rounds. I mean, it's just stupid. They shoot 62 like it's nothing.
Yeah, and guys
Finally.
like that still struggle to make it to the next level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They've got like,
It's
and the same
impossible.
guy has 2 cut. Like the one year I played, Max McGreevy played, and he shot like 20 under par and lost by 2.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you see how he can't hardly make cuts. It's crazy.
Right. We talk about Corn Ferry, right? And
Yeah.
how you have to come out and you have to make 7 birdies every single day.
Every day, minimum.
Every single day to have a shot to win. It doesn't guarantee you're going to win.
I mean, look at like if people just want to have a clue how good they are. Like look at the Monday qualifiers. And look how many guys are on tour on the Corn Ferry that shoot 8 under in one round and don't make it into the Monday qualifier. There were several guys that were All-Americans that tried to qualify for the John Deere Classic a few years ago, won big amateur events, and didn't even make the top 4 in the Monday qualifier. It's just crazy.
Yep. It's
a whole different level. It's like saying a guy that's maybe like the 3rd best player on a high school team could just hop out and play for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Finally, is Brooks either on track to be one of the greatest in golf after Tiger? How many more does he have to win to get in that conversation?
No,
12 plus.
Yeah, he's got 5 majors right now, and he doesn't even have 10 PGA Tour victories.
No,
I think he's got 9. So I mean, he's so far off from there. Like don't get me wrong. When he shows up, he doesn't give a shit about regular. Like he never cared at all about just regular tour events. All he cared about was winning the majors, right? Because he wanted his name cemented in history, right? And that's all he ever cares about. So you never see him truly caring. I mean, remember how there was always those rumors going around, or actually it wasn't even rumors. It was him talking about how he doesn't even practice.
Yeah,
he doesn't go out and practice. But he's like, he doesn't even go and like, he doesn't do the normal practice rounds that everybody else does, and all that kind of thing. So somebody like that, like he's a great player, don't get me wrong, and he's playing really well again, and it makes golf that much better. But he's definitely not in that category.
I mean, we're talking 82 wins. Rory just got to 24,
mm-hmm.
and we're talking 82. Rory's been on tour for 15 years. I mean, look at Phil's got 40 something. That's not even in the same planet as 82. I mean, in a way shorter playing period than Phil had, because he came out after Phil. He set out for multiple years with injuries. I mean, and granted that if Tiger's never came out, Phil probably would have 80 wins, but they're playing when Tiger and Phil were clipping off a lot of those wins. Even when Tiger you had David Duval, who was clipping off multiple wins a season, Vijay Singh, who was winning 8 events a season, Phil and Tiger. It was stupid to comprehend, like 82 tour wins. I mean,
right. Just say that again. 82 tour wins.
I think if you took like the top 4 or 5 guys on tour now, they wouldn't have 82 combined.
So he's tied with
Sam Snead.
Sam Snead with 82, right? And then Nicholas has 73, correct?
I think. I think they're.
Hold on, let me see.
I mean, how many?
Yes, he's got 73, and 15 majors, right, for Tiger, and 18 for Nicholas. I mean, that's just absurd, the amount of majors.
Yeah, Phil has 45, and he's tied with Walter Hagen. And I mean.
And none of that stuff is going to get, like, even the 45, right? Like, that's going to be extremely hard to beat nowadays, right? Because let's face it, like, the competition level is a hell of a lot more now than it was then. Because, and I'm not trying to take away anything. Like, when you win 82 tour events, you are top dog, right? And
the crazy thing, like, I get it where Tiger only cares about the majors. Like he only has those trophies displayed.
Yeah.
The same with like Tom Watson only has his majors trophies displayed, nothing else. And I asked, he's got 39 wins. And I asked him like, what about the other trophy? And he said, I don't even know where they are. I don't care. He's like, these are the only ones that matter. And it's like hard to comprehend. Like everybody wants to have the trophies of their wins, and some guys do, but it's like to think that Tom Watson won 8 majors, so he's got 31 other trophies for pretty big events that he has no idea where they are. Like, he doesn't even give a shit. It's
when
crazy.
When you're at that level, though, those other events are paychecks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
they don't even get the blood flowing.
Like Dustin Johnson,
Rocket Mortgage. Who gives a shit?
So like Dustin Johnson and Rory have 24 each. Like them combined is barely getting more than Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just crazy. I mean, to think that 2 of the top 8 players to win the most events of all time are still playing, even though Phil's not on tour anymore. He still has a chance to win majors, but I mean, you got to go deep on the list for anybody else that's a current player.
Let's figure out who's going to win this one, shall we? But first, thoughts on Charlie Woods and his ETA?
He's going 4 years of college.
4 years ago. Where's he going to college?
Wherever he wants, I would guess.
Yeah,
Wherever the hell he
probably
wants. I
wherever
don't
he
even know
wants,
where
yeah.
the good golf college.
I mean, his dad went to Stanford, but I would say if you're looking at great golf colleges right now, you have Vanderbilt, you have Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Oregon. That's pretty much it.
Why is Oklahoma State,
Ah.
Oklahoma State? Why are they such golf destinations?
Coaching.
Is that what it is?
Coaching and the willing for people to spend money on golf facilities.
Because they're always so good.
Oklahoma State was good forever, and Oklahoma was pretty much irrelevant. And then once they started winning, they started getting recruits. But there's a big crop of junior golfers right now that are going to be coming out in the next 3 years to college that are going to probably make big strides, because we're getting into the age now of like the kids that are going to be coming in the 24 and 25 season are the kids that grew up with TrackMan and FlightScope and the technology and the equipment. I mean, so you're going to see a lot more of these kids than like Gordon Sargent that swings 136 and just hits it a ton. They're the ones that are going to make some sort of ball rollback thing.
They're those dudes are like robots off the tee now. You know,
It's crazy.
just
They're
One of my-
younger and
yeah.
they're getting better, younger and younger.
Yeah, we were talking about one of my friend's sons that's committed to Iowa. I think next year he's a senior, maybe. But he swings like, I want to say he was like 128 or 129 at 16, 17 years old. It's crazy.
It's wild. Yeah, they're making them in labs now.
for
All right.
real.
I got my notes app. It's blank. Right here it says Adam top 20. What should I put underneath there?
All right. So top 20, Ricky Fowler at 120.
Like that. Coach
Just never
likes it.
know. Dustin Johnson at 140. Robert McIntyre at 275.
Rob Mackin.
Coming
Played
back
good
for
last
more
week.
this week. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's his odds?
275.
Nice.
Justin Thomas at 280.
Wow.
Wow, he really is
All right.
struggling.
I mean, I was looking today and I actually took a couple pictures of the screen where they were showing. So he's 75th right now in the FedEx Cup. And he has basically 3 events left to get in the top 70, or he's out of the playoffs.
Oh,
And he's also like 16th, I think, or 14th on the Ryder Cup. So he's outside the Ryder Cup. It's been a staple for the last 8 years. It's not going to make the Ryder Cup team. Are you going to pick him or Ricky if he's
damn, that's a wake up call.
who would you pick, him or Ricky? I mean,
Oh, Ricky's on fire.
unbelievable.
for
I
sure.
mean, it's not even a question.
I mean, yeah.
Or, I mean, you could almost say you could pick Lucas Glover right now. Better
Yeah.
putter, better ball striker, better off the tee, can score.
I mean, right now, why wouldn't you? If you had to
Yeah.
pick right now, you would definitely take Lucas Glover.
Yeah. Over JT. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
probably
for
a
sure.
dozen guys you could take.
Agreed.
And then my last one was Padraig Harrington at 400. He's old. He can move it. He's won British before. Why not?
Padraig.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. I actually like that. I dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's across the pond. You want a guy named Padraig. That's going to help you, I think. JT and DJ. I forget about DJ because he's over there on the live.
Doesn't
Not,
make
uh,
any
Not
noise. He
sitting at
just
our
like
lunch table.
he stays in his lane and he just minds his own business.
He
You wanna
just
talk about a
cashes
dude that
checks and hits
doesn't
golf
care.
balls. Yeah. What are
I-
Smitty's top 20s?
Well, I'm starting right away. I start off with DJ at plus 140. Just like what we talked about, right? Like he just stays in his lane and does his thing. And, I mean, last year, obviously different course and stuff, but I mean, still same style of courses that you're playing. So, I mean, he was T6 last year at the Open. So,
I think he said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make the most of it. Just going to
Yeah.
win as much of this live money as I can.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's open about that. He's honest, and honestly, I think that helps him swing more freely when he does come to majors now.
And it's
He's
not like
just
he
like,
needed
all right.
money anyways. I
Right.
mean,
Then I have Corey Connors at plus 210. He finished just outside of the top 20 last year. Let's see. Then I have Adam Scott plus 230. Guy who's been playing some really good golf this year and has been very under the radar, I feel like. Cam Young at plus 260. Came up just short at the Open last year. And then I have Jordan Smith at plus 500.
I was already typing Spieth.
I said Smith.
I said Jordan Smith. Yes, Jordan Smith.
And what's his odds?
At plus 500.
Is that Cam Smith's brother?
No, he finished T12 at the Scottish last week. He was top 10 in ball striking, top 15 in strokes gained off the tee. Finished T20 at the U.S. Open. Okay, so he's playing some good golf, and if he makes the cut, I think he definitely makes a run at being top 15. I don't think he can get into the top 10, but I think top 20 is very doable for him, and I like that number at plus 500. So
now I have Cam stuck in my head. What's his first name?
Jordan.
You can't just put Smith on a list. I like it. A couple Jordan Smith sounds like a prime DraftKings lineup guy.
Yeah.
Not many people are going to have him. If he makes the cut, he's top 15. Smitty guaranteed it.
Yeah, I wonder what his price is on DK there.
Yeah,
he sounds like he's about a 6,800 guy. I don't know. Sometimes they're sharp on these guys.
I mean, he was T47 at the Open last year, so it's not. I mean, and like I said, he's been playing good golf.
We shall see.
Yeah, just pulled up the Ryder Cup standings, and JT's at 13.
Ooh,
if I'm the
he's motivated.
If I'm the captain, I'm just taking top 12 to eliminate all of the. Oh, you pick your buddies because let's see, 14 is Denny McCarthy, 15 is Kitayama, Zalatoris is 16, and Finau's 18. Like you could argue that Kitayama and Denny McCarthy are definitely playing better by a mile.
Shoot 1 through 12 right now.
McCarthy, especially
1 through 12. Scotty, who's got twice as many points as Wyndham Clark.
Isn't Rahm? Oh no.
Koepka's in 3, Xander's in 4, Cantlay 5, Homa 6, Keegan Bradley 7, Spieth 8, Colin Morikawa 9, Cam Young 10, Burns 11, and 12 Fowler.
The only guy that I would say for me right now, just because
hopefully Max Homa gets bumped.
The only guy that I would want to see JT over is Colin Morikawa, if I'm being honest. He just doesn't move the needle for me, especially right now. But
yeah. I don't even know who he would pair well with.
Yeah.
See,
if you're looking at the pairing guys up for 4-ball, maybe you just put him with Brooks and say, have a fun time.
Yep. This is what you get for not getting
it's
in.
It's going to come down to the Brooks
dude.
controversy, whether they're going to let him play in. Even Zach Johnson was like, the dude's third if he's in the automatic qualifying spot, I feel like I have to pick him. This is an event run by the PGA of America, not the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to pick him. And if you want to win,
you're stupid to not pick him.
Yes, you have to pick him if you want to win.
I would almost bet the European team picks live guys because they can pick who they want.
Yeah.
You could pick the guy that's 900th on the list if you want.
Strategery.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
What do you got for top 10s over there, Adam?
Cam Smith at 220.
Defending champ.
Not a huge fan, but I think he'll do well.
Do you see what happened with him and or what he talked about with his buddies and saying like, oh, I got to give it up for a week and we'll be drinking out of it again. In about a week.
That's awesome.
So he's feeling pretty good about coming in.
Yeah.
The dude doesn't miss putts.
No, he's a great putter.
Great putter.
And then Tyrell Haddon at 260. He's been playing decent all year.
That is true.
Jordan Spieth at 300.
There he is.
Just because when you play these gimmicky, like it can bounce anywhere courses, I feel like it just works into his short game. He can spray it
he's
all
a
over the
gimmick.
freaking
He's a
map.
joke to you.
He can spray it all over the place and just wedge it around. You know, it's not like water to get in the way for him.
He's at
He does
320
figure it
now,
out.
FYI.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Justin Rose at 450.
It was 450. All right.
And then Shane Lowry at 360.
Beautiful.
Two of your picks.
Snips
Two
here?
of your picks were
Oh, pardon.
honorable mention for me, so I'm really happy that you took them.
I'm sure the odds are changing. So, funny story. Last week we're playing, and my buddy Jay Gianetto that played in the John Deere, he didn't make the cut. He had a bad week. He said that the course plays way harder for the deer than it plays like if you would have went the day before or the day after. He's like, it's just it's a whole different golf course. But he said that he looked at, I don't know if it was after our show or whatever, but he said my odds kept fluctuating. And I was like, that's because we were pumping you up, dude, for a top 20. I would have like, I could have paid my
Yep.
car off if I could have got you in a top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we're making real money then. Now we're down to the winners. This
Now
is where
Smitty's top
Smitty,
10.
I gotta get my top 10s yet.
that's where my cursor is. This is where Smitty gives us Jordan Spieth. The next two, probably.
All right. I have Cam Smith at plus 220. I have Victor Hovland at plus 240. I mean, really,
Yeah.
he's just playing too good at golf right now, and he kind of the way that he's been striking the ball as of late, I feel like that he's, knock on wood, like a given to get in the top 10. Then I do have Tyrrell Hatton plus 260. I have Ricky Fowler at plus 260. And then last but not least, I have Dustin Johnson at plus 300. I do not have Jordan Spieth as an official top 10 bet. I will be betting Jordan Spieth on my own
On Saturday.
because because I love Jordan Spieth, but like I did not make him official. I just don't know how I feel about him right now. He just pisses me off too much right now. But like I said, like Lowry and Spieth were my two guys that were my fifth or my sixth and seventh picks on here. And Adam used them. So, I mean, obviously we're on the same page there too, which is always good to see. It's crazy though, like how we have a lot of same picks all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't even remotely talk about it before the show.
Victor
Well,
needs
the
a
top
good week
10's
this
worked out.
week. He's sitting 17th on the European Ryder Cup list right now.
Yeah, and I think he'll play really well. I think he
Yeah.
will. I think he's going to have a solid week.
Actually, their European team actually looks really strong for their top 12. I was surprised.
Motivation.
And Tyrrell Hatton's at 13 right now. He moved up 5 spots last week. So
Yep. That's a good
McIntyre
pick right
moved up
there.
8. So I like that Tyrrell Hatton pick.
On the rise. That's what you want. Trajectory. They're undulating up. I don't know if that's how you use undulating. It's probably not. All right. Now winners. Who do you have, Adam? For your
I've
winners?
got Rory at 800.
Nice. I'm
And
going to
then
parlay him with some division winners. I like to do that.
I've got Brooks Koepka at 1800 because it's kind of like a grinder's course, which is what he likes, where it's British Open, and he doesn't have one of those yet. So
Yeah, if this course is going to play the way that some of the people are talking about leading up to it, I feel like it plays in his favor big time.
And if he wins this week, I mean, now we're talking about he only needs the Masters to complete the Grand Slam. That puts him in the same book with Rory. I think they both have the same amount of major wins too. Or Brooks actually has one more at 5.
I think he has one more. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So then I also picked Rahm at 1300. Fowler at 2500. And Wyndham Clark at 5500.
Wyndham.
Just from what I saw him do at the US Open, I thought,
Yeah.
the way it looks off the tees, it's going to be a little greener. He hit a lot of good quality shots that fit with this style of course. I thought.
I like a Wyndham Clark first round leader, I think.
I stared at his name for a while as well.
I just can't pick Scotty yet. I mean, he's what 18
doesn't-
top 12s and 9 top 5s or something like that in a row.
He doesn't have a whole lot of experience on links courses either.
It said one more top 12 this week, and he'll tie Tiger's record for the most consecutive top 12s.
Jeez.
That's like
Adam, are you going down for that?
No,
The territorial
No.
riders.
I've
Putting
got
on a
like
golf tournament?
5 more golf tournaments in the next 5 weeks. So yeah, I'd love to come down, but my wife's gonna leave
October
me
the
if I
6th?
keep playing golf.
I bet Oklahoma's beautiful in early October.
It's perfect weather in October. I just usually don't play much after October 1st,
Got to rest up.
but you never know. If the money's right, I might make a trip.
You gotta have time for racing 4-wheelers and designing giant cabins and houses and stuff.
Yeah, that and usually I'm just burned out of golf by October.
Smitty, are you going to tell us Jordan Spieth is going to win this tournament?
Well, let's see. I have John Rahm at plus 1300.
Ram.
Then I go to Brooksy at 1800. Cam Smith at 2000. Victor Hovland at 2200, and Tyrrell Hatton at plus 2500. Like I said, I once again, like I'm gonna bet Spieth at 30-1 on my own, but it's not one of my official picks for the show. Another guy that I didn't put in my top 10 or my outrights that I think has been playing really good golf too. And if you don't like some of these picks that I have or whatever, you could throw Tommy Fleetwood in there.
Yeah,
He
I was wanting to pick Fleetwood too.
He could very easily finish top 10 this week. I mean, he just played really well too this last
Yeah.
week. What did he finish? He was 6th. So I mean,
Just a great name too, Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there are probably, I would say, 10 guys that could very easily win the Open Championship this week. But I don't think the number is much higher than 10 guys that could.
I think it gets
officially
pretty sorted out by end of the day. It's tomorrow, first
Yeah.
day. I think you're going to see a huge divide, like maybe 10 to 12 guys that are clearly going to win the thing, and the rest are just going to be trying to survive the cut line.
I would agree with that, and I think there's maybe one guy that like really surprises everybody,
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah, like somebody you've never heard of, or some guy
Yeah.
that just made it in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That could be somebody like, I mean, geez, like Eric's boy Taylor Gooch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But like
You never know.
Sam Burns way down there.
I mean,
at
Taylor
plus
Gooch has
7,000.
been playing really good this year. He's won 3 live events, I think.
Don't forget about P. Reed at plus 7,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're going to pick live guys like Brooks, DJ, and Taylor Gooch are clearly the 3 best players on that exhibition tour by a mile.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree.
Taylor Gooch is winning like every other event.
McIntyre's 6,800.
I mean, I didn't see a guy like Minwoo Lee, who has been playing really good too, might be in there.
Just did it. Just made the winning lineup. Justin Rose, Brooks Koepka, Tyrell Hatton, Jordan Smith, McIntyre, and JT.
Yo.
I mean, that's.
Where is Min?
Let's
let's
just
see,
go
what
ahead
is-
and enter that.
What is Minwoo Lee right now? I'm looking
He
here.
plays good. I like betting on him to win holes. When he gets
don't
hot,
see him.
he really rips off some birdies.
Maybe he's not playing. Maybe he's playing the opposite field event. There's an opposite field event. I did look at it.
I thought he was in though.
Why would you have an opposite field event of the
There's
Open?
always an opposite field event because this is my theory. If I was
Shitty
on
guys.
tour and I qualified for the British Open, knowing that you're going to go over there with real sketchy weather and the top 70 or 80 players in the world. Stay back and play the Barracuda, especially if you're playing well. You're in the US, you're going to have more comfortable food items to eat. You're not going to be dealing with the time change. You're not going to be dealing with weather. Make some Ryder Cup points. Like if you're setting 15th on the Ryder Cup list, I'm staying back at the Barracuda and playing against Pendrith and Sue and Palmer because
at some point those guys need to make it a business decision there.
I mean, Kenny Perry did that the year he made the Ryder Cup team because he was at Valhalla and that was where he was from. And he wanted to play in his home course for his last chance to play in the Ryder Cup and skipped the British Open. And I believe he won the opposite field event and got in the Ryder Cup just from winning that. Boom. And he said, look, I don't like to go over there. I don't like the travel. I don't like the time change. I don't like the weather. And when played the Barracuda, I may have been the Barbasol at that point, was that week, but it's almost an easy paycheck if you're a good player. If you're Justin Thomas, why go to the British Open and just penalize yourself with weather and like your bad putting, slow greens, everybody in the world's there. Why not go to Barracuda? I realize you want to win a major, but if you're trying to break your slump and move up the list in Ryder Cup, go to Barracuda and get some easy points.
Yeah. Not a bad route to
and
do.
When you're on the bubble to make the playoffs, I mean, you got to use some business sense at some point. Like winning finishing 20th in the British is going to get you nowhere as opposed to winning an opposite field event. He's exempt from all the majors. Like just skip it, Then he's going to come back the next week and play in an elevated event and struggle with the greens. And
is that a pride thing, though?
Probably.
And all my boys are there. Like,
he doesn't want to be on the outs, but
yeah.
I mean, if it's you or me and we're sitting on 75 and it's like, okay, the British Open's this week. We need to move up in the Ryder Cup. We need to move up. Where are we playing? Like, just sit back and don't say it's the British Open. Like, we have to travel. It's a major, but you haven't performed in any majors this year, so why go?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. Like, just stay home, enjoy the weather, the food you like, get some easy money and point. Like, if he wins the Barracuda, he's easily in the top 70 as opposed to going over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Like, it's just purely a business decision,
Yeah, for some of those lower tier guys, like it makes complete sense for them to do that. To where I see the troubling part of the decision for JT to make a decision like that, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the way that he's been playing too, like he could go and play in that and just shit the bed too. And
I'd rather shit the bed in the U.S. than and be able to be back home the next day than to be overseas with your boys in a private jet and like now you got to wait till the end of the week.
Yeah, good point.
Rowdy Willis, talk about great names. That's a name right there.
I mean, there's some
betting on Rahm and Fleetwood.
I mean, honestly, in the Barracuda, it's a really strong field. It looks very similar to the last 2 weeks. But there's some good money to be made there. I just put down a few guys like Pendrith at 2,200. Sue's at 2,800. Ryan Palmer's at 3,000. JJ Spawn's at 3,000 and Hubbard was at 1,800. So
see, that's why
there's some good money to be made there.
When it comes to betting, man, the elevated events kind of screw it all up, man. Yeah. We killed all those kinds of tournaments last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The elevated thing did really kind of screw up our chi.
Yeah. Batia's at 3,500, trying to look down the list here. Grayson Murray's in there at 5,500.
He's a baller.
5,500 after the way he played last week. He could come in and win the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just had a bad day. He was on fire.
And Pendrith, too, for that matter. Vincent Norman at 2,500.
Yeah, Pendrith has seemed to kind of figure things out a little bit, and he's starting to play well again. I mean, he had that little bit of a lull, but end of the year last year, he was playing some really good golf, and he's kind of getting back to that point now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because a lot of these guys need to make money because with the way they restructured the cut, like you're going to keep your card, but you don't get in the playoffs. It's only 70 guys now, not 120 and then down to 70. It's just 70 and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes for a different kind of event.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
boys.
not many events left this year, so
Nope, there's really
Nope.
not. It's crazy. I feel like this year's flown.
yeah.
It has.
It's awesome though. Like, it's been a really good year though.
Yeah. Consistent, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not these crazy wins like we had the year before, but
Nope. Still positive in the ledger.
yeah, we've got
that's what we want.
we've got 3M, Wyndham, and then FedEx St. Jude's, and then we're in the playoffs. So
Oh man.
actually, the FedEx St. Jude's is the playoff, right?
Yes.
So we basically have 3M and Wyndham, and then we're in the playoffs. So Justin Thomas has basically 3 events to get in
Get
there.
his shit together.
Crunch time, baby. You better. I think maybe you're onto something, Adam. He might have to really come out firing.
If he doesn't
Yep.
do good this week, he's already committed to 3M, Wyndham. I mean, he's got
Yep.
to.
JT and Wyndham Clark. Those are my first round leader bets. The guys I got feelings about. I had a feeling
It's a
about
min-
Smotherman last week, and he didn't even make the cut. So
3M's in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got BMW Championship at Olympia Fields in Illinois, Chicago. So
there you go.
that's a great
More
event to go to.
episodes. More events, more podcasts, more money. I think we covered it, boys. This is the part where I thank the people. Thank you, people, for listening, tuning in, watching, commenting. Rowdy Willis, Skip, Coach, everybody in the comments. Love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, but you already did. Follow us on the Twitter at Plus Money Golf, all one word. Best of luck with your Open Championship bets this weekend. We'll see you right back here on Tuesday for more Plus Money opportunities. Adam, say something cool like golfers say.
Does your wife play too?
Thanks for listening to Plus Money Golf. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, keep up with the show on Facebook and Instagram at Plus Money Golf and on Twitter at PSR Golf. Until next time. Thanks for listening to